We touched on Disney earlier. Part of their brand is the experience you get in the parks.
Yes.
And I think for me, it was trying to get out of that team who they really were so they could share it with the world. It wasn't about reinventing them. It was about telling their story in a really authentic and truthful way. And I think what it's done for him is given his team the confidence to go out there and be who I always saw that they were, which is this incredible, knowledgeable, brilliant company that will take you forward.
Yeah.
And it was about helping them to be able to talk about themselves in something that felt real, grounded, and them. Because I think sometimes you can have consultants come in and say, this is what we think you should be.
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
Welcome to Captive Conversations, brought to you by Captive Wi-Fi. I'm your host, Adam Foreman. This podcast brings you the best stories from suppliers, marketers, and operators from our beloved hospitality sector. Now, let's get on with the show. Hello, everyone. Episode 69. Nearly at
Don't
70.
laugh.
I can't. I'm not laughing. I have made myself say this 17 times before you came, so I'm very happy with episode 69.
I'm happy that you're going to 69 me.
You're definitely a virgin on this podcast, so we're all good. Thank you for coming. We have known each other for a while. We've met quite a few times, and we met on. Did we meet on the digital hospitality? Or was it
We met
before?
digital hospitality.
Yeah.
Had a lot in common.
Yeah, well, especially that. And then obviously, we have mutual friends as well, which is Scott, and other people as well who seem to know you, which is very interesting. So you're definitely, it's there's lots of little connections there, which are pretty nice. But thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for making your way down. I know you're a very busy man, but it's going to be interesting to talk about your story and the history and how you're helping businesses, which is going to be really fun for everyone to listen to. The last one, the one that's just come out, she was like expert in sales, and there's a couple of like little nuggets of genius that just help your business, and I think that's just going to be one of those ones as well. So I'm quite excited to do the post on this one too. So all right, we're going to go straight into the two questions from the last guest, and that's Olivia from 125 Data and Insights. She said, what are the best and worst things working with hospitality brands?
Wow. I was thinking about this, and I think the best thing's really obvious. It's food and stories.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like two of the best things in the world, and you get to combine them. And I think what's really fun when you work with hospitality clients is like great stories, great food. I think the hard bit is when you hear, but that's the way we've always done it, which seems to come up a little bit too often for my liking. So I think the best bit, food, drink, and stories. The worst bit, stop it. If somebody says that's the way we've always done it, really? You sure it can't be better?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I had someone on the one we just released, and she was saying like, "What's our frequency?" And they go, "It's five times." And she goes, "Where's that from?" "Oh, I just know." And it's always been like that. It's always been 5.
Oh.
And she's like, "But where's the information from?" "Don't worry, it's always been 5." And it's like that same sort of thing, Don't worry, we know. Where's the information? No, don't worry. So I feel the same. Second question: what are the benefits of going through a tough time like it is in the UK and in the US?
Do you know, it's funny. I was walking to the studio. I'm really pleased we did this in person, not on Zoom. And I walked past a bit of graffiti that in order to see the light, sometimes you need to be in the darkness.
Yeah.
Which is a few hundred meters from the studio. And if you painted that, well done. And there's that little bit where I think sometimes when you go through dark times, it builds up resilience. But also I think sometimes when budgets are tighter, it drives creativity. I think sometimes creativity is pushed down the list of what people should be doing. But sometimes when you are under pressure, it makes diamonds and it makes resilience and it makes creativity. So if there is a glint of positivity from a difficult time, resilience and creativity.
Yeah, I agree. Do me a favor, can you scooch back a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
Is that all right? And then perfect. Just because I want to get that perfect. Okay, sorry. Amazing. I agree with you. I think it's when there's a challenge. I had someone in the other week, or a couple months ago now, who was like, "I wish." Not in a bad way, but I wish COVID was back. But not the dying. I was like, okay, thank God you said that. Thank God you said that. He meant I wish people were forced to iterate, and because during the pandemic, people really really shot up. Things changed, new products. They had to change to survive. We're at a tough time now, right? And
Really tough.
I don't think everyone is making or being forced to change.
Well, I saw a fascinating stat the other day. I think before the pandemic, there were about 6.5 million independent businesses. It's down to about 5.75 million, roughly.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of businesses that have gone, and I think that's really, really sad. But I think from difficult times, it drives innovation, it drives creativity, and it does drive resilience. And I feel that in this time we're in at the moment, hopefully creativity and resilience helps build back those independent businesses. And from independent businesses, you have small businesses that become medium, that become large. It's kind of exciting.
Yeah, I think some of the ones that are on the ride, you can see the growth, which is really nice, especially coffee right now. But other brands that have sort of grown over the last couple of years, they've understood the customer journey, they've understood their message. And it's probably a good point talking about it now, because we can talk about this later. But that message, if you don't have it right, that's the piece.
It leaves you vulnerable.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, on to the standard hospitality questions. Best hospitality experience.
I was thinking about this. I had a fantastic experience at a restaurant called Hambleton Hall, which is up in Rutland. I think they own Barafina. Really it was 40th birthday. They were fantastic. But I think sometimes hospitality, you need to look outside the traditional places. But I wanted to shout those guys out because they were brilliant.
Yeah.
Virgin Atlantic. I've had the joy of flying with them a few times. Their way they look after passengers and the way that they make flying less boring. Fun's a difficult word to use, but their onboard hospitality is fantastic. And I think there's something where it's built into the culture and it really shines through. And then the other one I was thinking about, I took my son to Disney in LA. Oh my gosh, they're good. Yeah. I mean, they're really good. And we went to the theme park, we went to the Star Wars bit. And it was just remarkable how everybody, from people who were cleaning up, you go over there or try this. And just the whole atmosphere, the way that they did it was stunning. And it felt effortless. And I think when you're working that hard and it comes across as effortless, for me, gold standard, Virgin Atlantic, Disney, and Hambleton Hall did a great job. You don't need to be big to have great hospitality.
Do you think there's a massive, well, it's a silly question, but do you think there's a huge difference between US hospitality and UK hospitality?
I think the US, it's more ingrained in the culture.
Yeah.
And I think it's more than just have a nice day. I think it's more ingrained in the culture. I think we're catching up in the UK. We've got a long way to go. But I think as a benchmark, the US are fantastic. And I think, especially in hotels and those traditional hospitality settings, I think they set a really good standard.
Yeah.
Not all the time. And there's plenty of horrors that everybody's going, oh, come on. But there are challenges. But I think there's a lot we can learn from the US.
Yeah, I think I always remember the story of my brother-in-law. He loves going to the US because he'll complain, because very typical British will complain about the most things, even the smallest things, and they always fall over themselves to look after him. He had a bit of a challenge when he went to Thailand and did the same complaining. And
no. That wouldn't work.
No. It was very interesting, but it wasn't like a horrific complaint. But they made sure that his stay was perfect no matter what, which was really nice, above and beyond.
It's a nice way of thinking.
Yeah. Okay. Best hospitality tech.
I'm going to go for a couple of bits that I use. One is ZenZap. I think we've talked about, I think lots of people have talked about WhatsApp for business. It really can be frustrating. I think ZenZap as an alternative, I think it's really, really smart.
Yeah.
And it's just a different way of thinking. I like the security on it. And I know you and I have discussed it in the past. I think there's something really, really smart about the app. And I think the more people that use it in hospitality, the quicker it will spread and the easier people's lives will be. And the other is a bit of tech that I use, which you could argue is not hospitality, but it's a Remarkable tablet.
Yeah.
And I think what I love about my Remarkable is no more paper. And the pen itself feels like a pen. It connects to my laptop. And when you're working with clients and you've got 101 things on the go, everything's in one place. The battery life's amazing.
Yeah. I'm actually looking at yours because it's really interesting, because you've got the written text, and then you've got the handwritten text underneath, which is just sort of, you would never do that on an iPad or anything else, right?
No, and it's a great bit of kit.
Yeah.
It's very, very ADHD friendly as well, which I'd really encourage people to try it. And next time you're passing somewhere that has one, just go and have a play, because not having paper and not losing things and how intuitive it is, it's brilliant, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so we're going to go all the way back in time. There's a little history lesson, I guess, of where it all began, like early doors. I always ask as well. I don't know if it's for you as well, but some people, because we're sort of hospitality focused a little bit. Did you work in any hospo before? Like when you early doors, did you do like anything?
I worked in a nightclub bar.
Did you?
I did, and we were banned from selling snake bite and black.
That's awesome, snake bite.
Which was a classic hooch kind of 90s. And what was great was I only ever played in a nightclub once, and I went back 2 years later and did a trance set, and I'm very proud of myself. But working in a bar, I think you see the best and worst of people. Yeah. It was an experience.
Yeah. So talk to me early doors. So before all of this, where you are now, before that company, what was the journey like after, I guess, uni?
Yeah, I took a year off after uni to go travelling and broaden the mind, so to speak, and it was an amazing experience. And then I started on the Sainsbury's graduate scheme. So I was in the marketing team in Sainsbury's in Holborn.
Oh, wow.
And it was an incredible experience. It was food every day. It was marketing and just everything from how to get more families in the stores to doing a national leaflet. We did 8 million leaflets every 2 weeks, and just working on lots and lots of different campaigns. And you learn a lot. So
were you was it a junior role?
I was a graduate in the marketing team.
Nice.
And then progressed up into the point of sale team, not tech point of sale, but as a physical point of sale that you see in the store.
Yeah.
It was
as
amazing.
In point to sale.
Yeah. And one of my jobs, I paid Jamie Oliver's wages when I was doing marketing accounts, which was, it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. But the advertising agency would turn around and say, well, for every pound they spent on Jamie, he brought in 20 to 30.
Yeah.
So they got some metrics on it. And it was a great experience, just working in lots of different teams, working with big brands, but also the evolution of a business. When you look at the culture, they changed it from head office to store support. And it was fascinating just seeing that business evolve.
Did you watch the whole transition from head office to store?
Yeah.
What was that like?
To store support. It was needed.
Yeah.
It was needed. There was, again, I was quite junior, but there was this, we're head office. Well, I'm going to say the business is done in stores. So there needed to be that transition of mindset. So it was really, really interesting, and worked with some great people and learnt a lot.
And then what was it after Sainsbury's?
After Sainsbury's, I worked for a US company called Safeway.
Yeah.
And we bought gift cards into the UK. So if you go into a Morrison's or a Tesco's, you can buy an iTunes gift card. And all the technology behind it was incredible. So you'd have to link up iTunes with Black Hawk that would connect it to the retailer. And it was actually really getting people used to buying gift cards and working on the marketing, working on the displays and working with the different retailers and, explaining to, the likes of Tesco, well, actually, you're selling other people's gift cards in here, but you're taking a percentage of that and all the market research behind it. It was incredible.
So was there no unified gift card before that? Were there other, they were all in one ones, but they were pretty
Yeah, they were all in ones, but it was actually the idea that you could buy a third-party gift card. And it had actually been quite prevalent in the States. The UK was really behind on it. So I think there's lots of stores where you can buy a third-party gift card. And it was an incredible experience. I got to work with Apple, Red Letter Days, Morrison's, Tesco's, Co-op, and it was fantastic.
Was there strategy in there as well, or was it more over just?
Yeah, the strategy was, well, if you get given a gift card, typically you'll spend 10% to 15% more when you get it. So for the
uplift,
there is an uplift on it. So it was talking to the brands saying, well, actually, you're going to give a discount to the people that you're selling it through, but you'll get the benefit as well as breakage and everything else. So it was my first kind of knowledge of tech, but also working with amazing brands that, you wouldn't, in 2006, you wouldn't expect to see Apple in the Tesco's.
No, so never.
It was
massive.
A big change, but also convincing people to give up space. To give up space to a new category and that proof of concept. So it was a large company, but with a startup mentality.
So was it? Obviously they were huge in the US anyway. So this was the startup mentality in the UK.
Correct.
So how many people were in the company when they started?
In the
here?
UK, there were maybe 6 of us.
Wow.
And then we had tech support from
Yeah,
the US,
of course.
which was 8 time zones away.
Yeah.
So it can be challenging.
Yeah.
Can be challenging, but met some amazing people, and it was, yeah, really good.
What was the learning from that? So, I mean, going from seeing Sainsbury's change in that junior level and then moving to that sort of gift card stuff, did you manage to take some of the learning? Well, obviously, I'm sure you learned a lot from Sainsbury's.
Yeah, of course.
Was it something? Was there specific things that helped you within moving to Safeway? My brain still goes because didn't they have the head stores here, right?
Yes, they did, and then they sold them to Morrison's.
Ah, okay.
I think what it was being able to talk to Morrison's with a language, not tech. Actually, okay, you've got customers coming in. If you've got families, the average, I mean, you've got children,
Yeah.
so you will know that there's 10 to 12 birthday parties a year.
Yeah.
Well, actually, if they spend £20 on gift cards, you know, there's a large category there. But they were thinking, well, actually, we're going to have to sacrifice space. So the tech guys were great at speaking tech, but I always felt that I understood retail and marketing.
Mm.
And so it was trying to bring that in, but also learn some of the tech side of it as well.
Yeah, it's very interesting because I mean, still to this day, you'll find some of the big retailers will have it on as you're checking out. It's just right in front of you.
But to get that space is a challenge.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
that's
premium.
come from confectionery, it's come from magazines, but then as a society we evolve, and gift cards are an amazing proposition.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think one of the partners we work with, Airship, is just for their product. They've just plugged into one of them, so now you can get like crazy amounts of you can buy a gift card and get it on one of their clients.
Next time you're in Tesco's, go and have a look at the gift card section, and go and have a look at the amount of restaurant gift cards. It's remarkable.
Yeah. It's, I mean, to be fair, all of it's remarkable of what's there. Even in the Asda petrol stations, you can grab, right? So I mean, it's a mental business. I think they were saying that I think it was 33% of people don't redeem gift cards or forget.
Yes, there's a huge breakage on it.
Yeah, I still have a Starbucks gift card that I don't know where it is. I forgot to put it in the app, and then now it's just somewhere in my house. So I'm one of those.
You'll be happy when you find it. You'll be happy when you find it.
Yeah, I was talking to someone else the other day who a hospitality brand, and they were saying that they do 11 months. So when someone buys it at that Christmas and they don't use it for that Christmas, in November they get a huge influx of people going, damn, I didn't do that. It runs out this day. So before Christmas, they get a huge rush of people using it. It's very clever.
That's clever. That's clever. That.
Okay, so what was after?
So after that,
yeah,
this one I've not told you before. I retrained as a chef.
What?
And set up my own Thai food business.
No.
That's
unbelievable. That was amazing.
So I did Thai street food for 2 or 3 months. It did not work. I crashed and burnt.
Yeah.
I've got
Where was it? So what did you do?
I
like
did
QSR
it up in Northamptonshire.
Yeah.
I made a fantastic Thai green curry.
Yeah.
From scratch, no paste. Should have used paste in hindsight. Should have used paste. And I did this for 2 or 3 months, tested it.
Yeah.
I had my chef whites, my knives, and I could not get it to work. It was the wrong location, the right idea, wrong location during a recession.
Yeah.
What was I thinking?
Yeah.
I learned so much from that experience, as well as like what it's like to work in a kitchen, like doing the training.
So what did you find a space did you start at home and then
started at home, did my chef training, got a market stall, did this market stall for weekends, and just everybody loved the food.
Yeah.
But there weren't enough people loving the food. So I can still cook. Actually, no, I'll bring you a green curry next time.
Yeah, well, I mean, the journey might be a little bit cold, but it's fine. Yeah,
you can reheat it.
Yeah. I'm happy. I've got a microwave just here. Not that anyone can see the other side of this studio. Oh my god, that's hilarious. So you get to learn a bit more about hospice. So you were on the market.
I did the market.
Were you giving stuff away as well?
Yes, I gave a lot away. But also going to chef school and learning. I had an incredible chef, Chef John, who I'm still in touch with, who I just learned a great deal from. And I think I found a new respect for people in hospitality.
Yeah.
I found a new respect for people who've worked in kitchens, front of house. It is really, really hard. I mean, it's really satisfying, but when you finish and you're doing the clean down, there's that sense of relief, but also, we've done a good thing here.
Yeah.
So it was a brilliant experience, learned loads from it, and went, this is not my path.
Yeah.
So I went to work for a design agency.
So what was it? So basically, that was it. You scrapped it.
Scrapped
That's
it.
a great experience, good learning, and then
I still
pack it
have,
up.
I still have the knives and the
And
whites.
the chef whites, nice.
I still have the
You
whites.
need to
really,
do some content with the chef whites.
I've got my name on it as well.
That's awesome.
I built a brand, everything.
What was it called?
Tuck In.
Oh, I like that.
I was quite pleased with that.
That was really good.
That was the bit I realised I was stronger at.
Yeah. The brand was great, but you just
The brand
more
was
people.
great, the food was great, but it was the wrong location.
Yeah.
And I think there's something as a learning.
Yeah.
You know, I sometimes feel that everybody talks about things that go really, really well. And I always remember something Arsene Wenger said, that you learn more from defeat than you do from victory. And that's probably one of my toughest defeats, but learned so much from it, both about myself, but also about business.
Yeah. When was that? So how long ago was that one?
That was 2009.
Wow. Okay.
It feels like yesterday.
Yeah. It's interesting. Some memories really do feel like yesterday.
They do.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like some defining moments.
Yeah.
And then you went to work for.
I worked for a brand design agency, and,
Yeah.
and I got to work on some incredible brands. Both.
Was it local? Or...
Yeah. No. Well, it was in Leicester,
Nice.
but they worked all over the world.
Yeah.
They had some incredible brands. I was working in sales and marketing for them, but also did a little bit of ideation and account management, and ended up working on some incredible brands, meeting superb people and seeing life through a creative lens. And it had a huge impact on me.
Yeah. So it's interesting, the journey you're taking, because it's sort of like you're following the flow. It's like the river.
Yeah.
You know, and
each time getting close to where I needed to be.
Yeah, it's like it's meant to be.
Yeah.
So how long were you there for?
I was there. I did a couple of stints there.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much till 2019. Yeah.
Okay, so we're coming. That's quite a bit.
Quite
of time.
a chunk. Yeah.
Were you doing stuff on the side as well, or not?
I did 9 months out for another marketing company.
Yeah.
But the design agencies where I kind of
you got pulled back in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just loved the people, loved the work they did, and just working on interesting brands. And when you work on really interesting brands, you learn not only from the people you work for, but the people you work with.
Yeah.
And it was just an incredible experience. And having brands in your hand that you can play with and learn from is just amazing.
Yeah, especially big brands as well, because there's huge learning. It's interesting. We've had a couple of people in who are marketing directors, but were ex-retail.
Yeah.
So learning from both sides, taking that information over. So I've spoken to loads of people who are just marketing for hospo, but the retail's like way ahead.
Miles ahead.
It's really
Miles
interesting. It's
ahead.
really interesting. Some of the people we've spoken to have taken that concept and idea from where they worked in retail and brought it into hospitality.
But I think there's something really nice about that. I mean, when you asked the question about hospitality, that's why I said go and look at Disney. And I think sometimes people are so busy benchmarking their own industry that they miss something way bigger. You know, when you look at window displays, I was in Mayfair the other day, and there was incredible window displays all the way around. Then one of the hotels had put a florist in the front of it to create a window, and you're like, that's a hotel that's actually done a good window. And
yeah, you don't see.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
But my point is, what can you learn from outside your industry?
Yes.
So people look at hospitality and food, and they go, okay, this restaurant's got, take Dishoom, their service in there is very, very good.
Yeah.
But why not go and look at, say, Emirates Airlines, or people that make service effortless? It doesn't just have to be in your sector. And I think sometimes we're too quick to go, well, that's our competitor, that's what they do. And
I love that. Wouldn't it be nice to go? We have a client called Padella who do amazing pasta, and they, in the one in Borough, you see them as you walk past making that pasta. Just that piece, looking at is that sort of memory piece of, well, hold on, I've got to go there because that looks amazing. And I'd love it. Obviously, there's challenging with space and so on. But hotels or even restaurants to have that space to do something to show.
But think about brands that do storytelling. And one of the most obvious is Jack Daniels. And every time you're on the tube, you see the Jack Daniels.
Yeah, I'm always reading
people
it.
Read.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we live in a society where people don't read.
Yeah.
Right? But people read the Jack Daniels thing because Jack Daniels are amazing at storytelling.
Yeah.
And if you go to the distillery in Lynchburg, Tennessee, you'll find out that most of the stories are true or fisherman's tales.
Yeah.
But when you talk about storytelling, I'm not looking at what other consultants and coaches and mentors do. I'm looking at what big brands do and go, why is that story interesting? How have they done it well?
Yeah.
So I think there's that little bit where we need to stop looking at just our industry and go look look further afield. And this was a project we did a while ago for Godiva. So when I was at the design agency, they gave a brief where they wanted to do personalisation. We didn't look at other chocolates. We looked at, say, luxury jewellery, or we looked at, what we actually did is we showed them, do you know in Love Actually, the bit where he goes to buy the necklace and Mr. Bean's there putting all the things in there, and you just feel Alan Rickman's pain. And Emma Thompson comes along, and we were like, that's brilliant. So we showed them that as part of this is where we think differently. And I think if you look all the time at your industry, you miss these other things that are right in front of you. And there's all of this information out there and people don't look.
Yeah, it's true, actually. It is true. Again, you're opening my eyes. You don't even think about it. You just assume that's that, they do this, and so on. You know, I have been speaking to some other brands, like, look what Shopify are doing. Look what is done on that customer experience side. It could be done much more in other sectors. Yeah, there's so much. It's really interesting. I guess we're going to touch on the story piece in a bit. So, okay, 2019, and then
I worked for a business just before lockdown, doing activations in shopping malls, and started to run that business. And whilst doing that, I was doing a course on the side about coaching and mentoring. And a friend of mine said, you need to do this course. Went on this course and fell in love with it. And the trainer that was there is a guy called Graham Ravenscroft, huge influence on me. He was one of the British Olympic team coaches. He did high jump.
Yeah.
Did help Jessica Ennis and a number of power athletes that have won gold. Thank goodness he was teaching me coaching and mentoring, not high jump, because it would have been awkward for the pair of us. And I fell in love with it. And he said, you should really think about doing this. You should really think about doing this. And then in 2020, I went, this is my time. And I set up Richard Solutions, which in just 3/4 of the way through the pandemic seemed like a really good idea.
Yeah. So what was that? So I'm assuming pandemic time, work from home, and then did you have the time to percolate that, or were you training?
I was percolating that idea, and you know, as many of us were furloughed, and I was just thinking to myself, I think I can do more. Like, I want to do something for me. I want to do something where I can make a difference. I want to do something where, do something that I love. And I'd found this thing, and I investigated, was really curious about it, drew up a business plan and went, yeah, right, let's do this. You've got one shot at it. And I've got a very encouraging wife who was very supportive. And I went, yeah, I'm going to do this. And it will be November the 1st, this year will be 5-year anniversary. And I think about all the things that I've done in that time. And the business has evolved. Yes. It's evolved. But
so what was that journey like for evolving? Because you do a lot of different things now.
Yeah.
So with the coaching, was that people finding you? I'm assuming obviously you have a nice book of people that you know getting introductions, which is great, and that probably helped you.
It did to begin with.
Yeah.
It did to begin with. I did a little bit of marketing consultancy. With my background, it made sense, and I started coaching a couple of people, doing consultancy. And then it's gradually evolved as you meet people. And I think the idea of just talking to people and being curious has opened up doors. And I think sometimes when people do it, you can just see them, it's a bit shitty and nasty, right? You know, or sweaty try-hard, as my teenager would call them. Well, I just think you have a conversation with somebody and see where it goes without expectation. And 5 years on, I'm still having interesting conversations. And for me, it's a joy to have those conversations and then to work with people and to actually make a difference. It's really satisfying.
So on the coaching side, is it a range of different people from like corporate to others, or how does that work?
So I work with a couple of MDs, which is fascinating, but also work with quite a few startups. And what's great about startups is they've got this really fresh mentality and they've got these great ideas. And sometimes it's about signposting, and sometimes it's about helping them and guiding them to be the best they can be.
Yeah, you can get lost. That old founder journey.
Absolutely. And then you have other businesses where, you know, they need help telling their story, or they need help with sales and just a bit of creative thinking.
Yeah.
So from the coaching and mentoring side, it can really, really vary.
I guess it filters in, right? Because you can...
It goes across, and the same with the consultancy,
Mm.
because sometimes people just need that extra bit of energy or thinking or creativity, and that's what I bring.
It's so interesting because you literally could be doing a brand marketing for someone, and then they just fall into coaching because they feel so completely comfortable. Yeah, it's an evolution. It's really, I never even thought about
trust.
it.
It's about trust.
You're right.
Got to, you know what it's like when you're working with people, and again, I think it's really underestimated. You really need to work with people you trust.
Mm.
And what's so nice is when you get a recommendation, because you think to yourself, somebody really appreciated my work. And I think when I give a recommendation, I always think that's a really nice thing to give, but there's thought gone behind it. When you work with people you trust, and I talked about this all the time, there's a concept in marketing, know, like, and trust. And I recently did a course where they said, well, actually, there's another layer, which is ambassador. So when you have somebody that goes out to, you need to work with this person because they're amazing. That's an ambassador. I'm sure you have it with your business.
Yeah,
where
I feel like I'm an ambassador for everyone else because I'm consistently.
You're going to get a lot of Ferrero Rocher at Christmas.
I feel like I literally am that.
But I think that's something really nice about that because when you find these places that you become an ambassador for, you think to yourself, "Oh, that must be fantastic." And when you have your own ambassadors, and you might not always know who they are, but these people are amazing, and it's something that I try and get people to think about, challenge them, and go, okay, who are your ambassadors and who are you an ambassador for? Yeah,
it's really important. In my mind, it's the partnership side, right?
Yeah.
If you can find someone that you have that partnership with, in every industry, it's important to have those sort of partners, and
trust.
Yeah, 100%. The trusting is really interesting. My brain goes to, if you're working with someone and you have that good relationship with, and you can see that they're struggling, the flip into mentoring is just a no-brainer.
But then there's also the flip on the other side, that when something goes well, that you celebrate it. So I have a client, and they've won. They did a pitch, and they've won funding for this incredible venture they're working on. I was like, it was so exciting. You get really excited for them, and there's that little bit where you're there to support people when they need it, but you're there to celebrate. And I think as a society, some of us Brits, we need to get better at celebrating.
Yeah, I think there's a few things that we all need to like being upfront would be one thing, would be great, and as in yes or no rather than maybe. I think the maybe question is in businesses. I don't know why it's a UK thing, but it seems it's a very much like I love it and it's a really great idea. And no, but there's no but. It's just that it's just silence. So and I do that. I sometimes do that myself. I probably do sometimes that myself when I'm speaking to a new hardware vendor or whatever it might be. It'll be okay. That's great, and then. I'll come back to you, and then it's left.
Dramatic slow pause on podcast.
Yeah. Okay. That's really interesting. So, what's the leverage now of marketing versus
the marketing is doesn't. I don't do as much as that. I do a lot of branding now. I do a lot of brand DNA.
Yeah.
Do quite a bit of consultancy and coaching and mentoring. So it's probably a third.
Oh, nice. That's a nice mix up. So every day's different.
Which is great because I like to do a bit of context switching. I'm the person with 30 tabs open on their laptop.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm more than happy with that.
Yeah.
And I sometimes find for my brain that works very well. I work with a lot of neurodivergent businesses as well, which I understand and are able to support them.
Yeah.
So I love it.
Yeah. That's really interesting. That is, it's so, okay. So, we're now up to date.
Yep.
Up to date of where we are to now. That's really interesting. So, we have a mutual client, and I want to touch on what you did for them because it was pretty awesome.
Thank you.
That's Scott from Auden Hospitality. Hi, Scott. You did an awesome project for them. I'd just like to talk about it really because
Thank you.
He came on our podcast, and I asked him probably the same question you did because I had no idea what Auden meant. And then he told me about it, and I was saying to him, which is probably the same comment that you said to him as well, why aren't you talking about it? So I'd love to hear what that process was like, because it's important for people to understand. There's brand DNA, there's marketing, there's looking at the story, but it's difficult when you're stuck with what you're doing, or you're just growing your brand.
Yeah, and I think sometimes you get stuck in your own head. So when I went working with Scott and the team at Auden, for me, getting to know Scott and yourself, you guys got all of this energy and knowledge. And Scott sent me this promo video that he made. And he said, "What do you think?" And I sent him the worst message you can on WhatsApp. "Do you want me to be truthful?" And I think one came back, "Oh shit." I said, "I need to ring you." And I rang him and I said, "It looks like you, but it's not you." And I think what had happened is they got this agency and they'd done this really professional video, but I'm like, where are you? Like, and for me, I think what Scott does and his team is incredible.
Yeah.
They've got this amazing set of skills and knowledge. They really care about what they do. They obsess with food and hospitality.
Yeah.
And for me, it was about talking to his team, pulling it out of them, really understanding, okay, who is it you serve? Why do you do it? You know, what's your purpose? Asking them all of these questions, question after question after question, building up their DNA, and then going, right, this is who you are. This is what you stand for. And it's like, oh, that's just how we sound. I'm like, yes. And for
In
me,
your head.
but I was like, if
Yeah.
you start communicating with this with the world, it's going to make it easier for people to understand you. And I think with brand DNA and with branding, too many people think it's a logo. It's not. It's a way of life. It's the customer experience. We touched on Disney earlier. Part of their brand is the experience you get in the parks.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it was trying to get out of that team who they really were so they could share it with the world. It wasn't about reinventing them. It was about telling their story in a really authentic and truthful way. And I think what it's done for him is given his team the confidence to go out there and be who I always saw that they were, which is this incredible, knowledgeable, brilliant company that will take you forward.
Yeah.
And it was about helping them to be able to talk about themselves in something that felt real, grounded, and them. Because I think sometimes you can have consultants come in and say, this is what we think you should be.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. It's actually who they are, getting it out of them and showing the world what that is.
It's interesting because you're sort of like the learning that you've given them for their brand DNA is something that they've probably taken now to their client base.
Correct.
Which is really interesting because, you know, that's difficult. You can go to a hotel, you can go to an F&B brand and ask them questions and you'll get the responses. But then if you actually do what you've done for them, which they've basically taken and done for other brands, it's super interesting.
What's really interesting, if you think about a flagship retail store, it opens up in the first week, everybody from head office comes and goes, this is great. And it's the same with a restaurant chain. What's really interesting is if you went to, I don't know, Pizza Express in Peterborough on a Thursday night, are you going to get the same experience? And for me, the brand DNA should run through it. So I use a Star Wars reference. It's like the Force, it should run through everything. It should run through the recruitment, it should run through the values. But everywhere should have that. And for me, it's not just about consistency, because anybody from head office can go into a place on opening week or the nearest one to the head office and, you know, everybody's going to be on best behavior. But to get that level of consistency, everybody who comes and interacts with your brand should have the experience and what you've tried to create. And I think if it's not easy to understand, then it's never going to happen.
Yeah. I went to, I'm going to mention a brand actually I've been to recently that did the same. We went, it's a brand called Brother Marcus.
Okay.
I've been there a few times, great brand. And what you were saying is it actually resonating in my head. So we went there once with my wife. Some of one of the items on the menu wasn't available. They brought her the food. They asked how it was. She said it didn't come. And then when it came to the bill, they went, "Don't worry, it's you didn't have the great experience." She goes, "No. I want to pay." She goes, "Nope, it's on us." And they refused to put her meal on the menu.
Okay.
No, she didn't ask anything. She was just like, she was like, "Oh, there's no mushrooms," and they were like, "Okay, nothing. I'm so sorry." Turned out she said she has a garlic allergy, so they had mushrooms, so they took it off very nicely without, But that was it. And then we went back again a couple of weeks later, different, same location, different waitress. Something was missing, and no quibble. They just their DNA was you have to have the best experience, or it doesn't work.
And that's why you've gone back.
And and
that's why you're telling that story.
Yeah.
And for me,
it's the memory, right?
There's a concept that in branding called sticky stories.
Yeah.
So it's a story that's easy to share and repeat. And you've just done it.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you create that brand DNA and it's real.
Yeah.
and it's easy for people to understand. That's a sticky story that you will share over and over again.
I love that. Sticky stories. That's a good point. I think it's amazing. I think that if you can create that memory, there's always going to be a memory. Like there's a few that we always talk. You always remember in your mind of that amazing experience, and you'll always anchor back to that great experience.
Sticky stories.
Yeah, I think I wish that. I mean, it's a great learning for other brands to look at and build that. I think we had Ruth from Pizza Programs on a while back.
Oh, fantastic.
And she was saying that if someone overhears that it's someone's birthday, they'll literally give them all free margaritas and so on. So they have the ability to make it a special.
So they've empowered the team to deliver that.
Yeah.
Which is, but for me, that's taking it from a piece of paper and making it real.
Yeah, and not even knowing, right? Or someone's having a celebration of something, they have the opportunity to uplift that team, give them stuff, and show the value.
But if you think about people that had that experience and then go and share it with their communities, all of a sudden those sticky stories travel far further than a paid ad ever would.
100%, and also no need for social media.
Yeah,
or,
because it's done it for you.
Yeah, 100%.
I like that.
It's so clever. I'm going to touch on one of the first questions actually, because I want to talk about it, which was the "Don't be boring." And I have the 2 stickers still that you gave me last time, and on the desserts you bought me, which is very nice of you. It said it's become your signature phrase. What does the motto mean in practical terms, and how can companies apply it to their branding and leadership?
I think "Don't be boring" for me is a mantra, and I think it's about challenging. Well, that's the way we've always done it. Business has to be boring. I've done pitches recently where I wear my pink trainers. Yeah. I've met some incredible people wearing what I want to wear, and that's living and breathing the brand. Don't be boring is about challenging. Why is it that way? Why does it have to be like that? And for me, it's a way of challenging people to think about their business. There's going to be a little twist on it, which is "Don't be boring, be amazing."
I love that.
And I think there's this little bit where often businesses look at, okay, what are our weaknesses? How do we fix that? Okay, I get that. But the "Don't be boring" would be, okay, what do you do really well? How can you do more of that?
Yeah.
And that's the be amazing side of it. And if you talk about Pizza Pilgrims, like it's actually about making people feel welcome and giving that vibe off. Go and do more of that.
No, I agree. I think that's fantastic. I wish that, I think the challenge you have is in the bigger brands, there's always a bit of a challenge with feeding that through. I think smaller brands can probably just about.
But that's the joy of being independent.
Yeah.
When you're independent, like for me, having my own business, I make my own rules.
Yes.
So each month, I'm guaranteed to be Employee of the Month. I love it. When you are an independent, you've got so much more ability to be agile. And I think there's something amazing about independence. I love small businesses. And I think there's something about, as a community, we should all be supporting small businesses.
I agree.
You know, whether it's restaurants, shops, you know, whatever it is that's important to you, go and support them, because those independents, you know, like I said earlier, it goes from small to medium to large. They're only going to stay there if we support them. Yeah.
I quite like it, actually. Some of the brands that we've worked with in the past and work with now still have that feel, because they've empowered the local. So like the local marketing is allowed. So the GMs and the managers are empowered to stay local.
I heard your interview with Honest where they were talking about that, and I just thought there was something really refreshing about that story as they were telling.
I think I didn't even know that they were talking about stuff like they have local produce as well, which I had no idea until she told me. And when you go and speak to the GMs or go in, they'll tell you about it, and they'll tell you the story about it, and they'll tell you. She said, I remember they were telling in that podcast. She was saying that I think one of the sites has cheese from the local dairy, and they just completely ran out. Like the cheese just completely, they literally ran out of stock because it was just selling off the shelf like consistently, and obviously helping local businesses. I think that one piece of the story for them is awesome. Every site has their own special, and then they all have those little locals, which is just a beautiful touch.
I really like that mentality as well. And, you know, think about the brand essence that you're talking about there. And I remember that podcast. I really enjoyed hearing those stories. And I think what's wonderful about independence is that you can do what you want.
Yeah.
And to have that mentality is really nice.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so this is a nice question. So my researcher, which I sent you the questions a little bit later, I quite like this one. This one's you often describe yourself as a business buddy for entrepreneurs. What does that look like in action? And can you share how you help businesses find the unique personality so it doesn't blend in within the crowd? I like that, business buddy.
Yeah, do you know, I'm really excited. I collect Google reviews.
Yeah.
And I've sometimes so everybody talks about Google reviews for, okay, it's good for the algorithm. It's good to help people understand what it is you do. It allows you to communicate with customers. I get all of that. If you're ever having a bad day, you know, when you've had like a crappy moment,
Yeah.
I go and read my Google reviews. And to all the independent restaurants out there listening to this, if you're ever having a crap day or a crap customer, go read your reviews. And in my reviews, Business Buddy came up, Business Therapy came up, and I put all my reviews into AI and asked it to pull out some themes, and they came up.
Oh, nice.
And I think what it is about really getting to understand somebody's business, really asking those questions that, you know, if you don't work in the business, you can get away with.
Yeah.
Why does that work well? What's going on here? What does that person actually do? Why do customers dislike you? Why do they? And you ask all of these questions. You build up a really good picture, and then you're able to help that business go, right, let's do more of that. Do you think you should do less of that? And you get them to come up with the answers. But for me, it's about really getting under the skin, challenging things.
Yeah.
But it's nice when people say, oh, it feels like business therapy. Or you feel
I guess
like
you're taking the coaching side into it. So it gives you, you're using your learning from there into business too.
Well, the way I see it is, I'm really lucky to have worked on some mega brands. And you try and bring that thinking into independence. You try and bring that alongside the coaching and the consultancy. And it creates this feeling. And that's what was so interesting about going through the reviews was, you know, therapy and buddy. And you're like, that's not what I set out to do. What I set out to do is to help people be a little bit more amazing. If that's how they interpret it, then it's
great. That's fantastic.
Nice.
Okay, coming towards the one of the last questions, which was this one. This is a nice one. Looking back, what's one story from your career? It says maybe an early marketing venture or a creative campaign that you led that really illustrates your "don't be boring" philosophy in action.
I was thinking about this, and there's lots of campaigns I wanted to tell you about, but I thought I'd tell you a story about London because we're in London today. And I started my career at Sainsbury's, did a week in head office, and then they sent us all out to store. So I did 4 weeks in Vauxhall 9 Elms. Okay. 2002.
Vauxhall was a bit different back then.
It just a little bit. And I remember I was out stacking shelves and putting up point of sale and all sorts of different things. And this lady said, "Excuse me, where are the pineapples?" And that was Joanna Lumley. I was like, this is great. Obviously took her to the product.
Yes.
And then about half an hour later, we were chasing a heroin user out of the toilet. and I think what was really good for me, that experience said, right, you need to go onto the shop floor to understand it. And I remember as a kid, there was an amazing program called Back to the Floor. And it really made me help understand the business, you know, from shoplifters to Joanna Lumley. So in the course of about 2 years, I went into 50 stores.
Wow.
50 stores, either visiting or like talking to people in there just to get an understanding of it. And I think sometimes we become really disconnected from our products when you work in an office. And for me, I've used that when I've been working with business owners saying, well, actually, you need to go on site today. You need to go and talk to your customers and actually ask them what's going on. And I think sometimes that experience, that was September 2002. September 2002.
Good
and
memory.
It was a brilliant experience because it allowed me to, it imprinted on me the importance of understanding what happens on the floor. And if you think about restaurants, if you think about tech, you know, I sometimes feel that I hear some tech brands talk and it's all about, well, the tech does this, but what about the user? And I think what was really interesting about visiting 50 stores was seeing what was right and wrong. And for me, it's about building up your big picture. If you've got a good big picture, you do interesting things with that.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting. Lots of brands, not lots of brands, but some brands will not do that. They'll just do from the head office.
Yeah.
So head office says, and it does.
But why?
Yeah, exactly. And I had we had Jo Lynch who now works at Cannes, and she used to work a big table group, or what it was back then, and she was part of the team that helped them build local marketing.
Yeah.
And she did the whole packs to give to to empower the local managers.
Fantastic.
To have the whole packs, and then they ran with it. So rather than having to ask head office, I need a Christmas sign, and then it waiting, she just developed the packs and gave it out, and that's something to remember. I sort of remember that piece of that local marketing, giving them the empowerment. So rather than the head officey thing, that it's done from them. I think those sort of pieces, that when head office wants to help, makes a massive difference. I think you're right. I think some places do need to go in and see what's happening. Ask. A friend of mine owns a restaurant, and I always say to him, I mean, when's the last time you asked someone, rather than your manager or you, when's the last time you walked around and had a chat?
So one of the things I do with a lot of my clients is I send them, I love the Johari window if you've ever done that.
No.
I love that. So Johari window is basically a really, really simple square box where you have different things seen by yourself, not seen by others, seen by everybody, seen by yourself, and then unknown. The bit where you can't see it but other people can is your blind spot. So what I do with a lot of my clients is ask them, go and ask your customers why they work with you. Why do people work with you? What do they get from you? Because they can be two different things. And all of a sudden you start to narrow your blind spot. So when I did this in my own business, because I rebranded 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, I asked people, what do you get from working with me? And I was thinking, they're going to say expertise, knowledge. And they went, oh, we feel more confident. I was like, I'm not a confidence coach, but that's how they felt after working with me. And it was this blind spot. So sometimes I feel there's that bit when you talk about your friend, you need to walk the floor, but you need to talk to your teams. You need to talk to your customers. When was the last time you talked to a customer and asked them, why do they buy from you and what do they get from you?
It's so interesting. So half the things you're saying are very similar. So I had Annika from Two Forks, and she does many development. Annika. She is unbelievable, and so much
her on Clubhouse.
She's just some of the stuff that you're talking about is so it resonates with stuff she was talking about, and stuff that she would do when they would bring customers in and invite customers back in and to free menu for everything, just try everything and get your not just your raving fans, but ask people questions. And it's so interesting. Some of your stuff you're saying is because she does the psychology of it, and it's so interesting. Some of the stuff you're saying is
it's so simple.
Yeah, well, yeah,
it's so simple, and people forget to ask.
All the time.
People forget to ask.
Yeah.
So I challenge everybody listening: ask your customers why do they work with you, and what do they get from you?
Yeah,
because you'll be surprised.
Yeah, I think the customer first thing is really important, and if you can put them first, everyone's going to succeed.
Tech and restaurant.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so we're going to hit to some of the last questions. So I'm going to give you a.
I like that.
Yeah, round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Best restaurant.
Oh, this is a horrible question. A horrible question.
And it could be anywhere. Or it could be a couple.
I'm going to go Hambleton Hall in Rutland. It's just superb. I think if I was to pick a chain, I would go with Dishoom. And there's a Turkish restaurant I love in Finsbury Park called Yildiz.
Yeah.
And it's a classic North London Turkish barbecue. The bread is incredible, which they cook above the meat. It's my favourite place to go. It's just a wonderful neighbourhood restaurant. So you've got a Michelin.
Yeah.
In Hambleton, you've got a chain in Dishoom.
Perfect.
And you've got an independent in Yildiz.
Best burger.
Oh, this was really horrible. I'm going to go one in and out of London.
Yeah.
So out of London, Crafty Burger, which is in the middle of Leicester. Amazing independent.
Yeah.
They get local ingredients. The staff in there are amazing. It's really chilled out. It's in the centre of Leicester. Crafty St Martin's, brilliant. Chicken and Sours in London. Their burger is incredible. I was gutted when they closed. Only to find out this week they're reopening in King's Cross. Yeah. I am so pleased because their chicken burger with the red pickle, outstanding. Chicken and Sours. I'm so pleased you're back.
Yeah, it's a great brand. The one in it because it was Covent Garden, right? There was
one in Haggerston.
Yeah. They had a few, and great brand. But it was fun. It's funky.
It's got personality.
Yeah, it does.
If KFC did magic mushrooms, they got it on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
Wonderful burgers, and pleased to see them back in.
I saw the post that they're coming back. So that is really exciting. Best hotel.
Tricky one. This I'm going to go with the Shangri-La in Kuala Lumpur. Incredible facilities, amazing service. But recently, I had a voucher and I went to the Virgin Hotel in Shoreditch. I was really surprised. It's a 4-star.
Yeah.
Lovely service, really funky rooms. And they've got
Virgin had a hotel.
They've got a Blue Marlin.
Yeah.
Nightclub and they've got a Blue Marlin bar, rooftop pool.
Wow.
It's in Shoreditch.
Yeah.
It's funky cool, really, really nicely done. Super service, great rooms, really funky. Surprised me.
Yeah.
So that's my one for London. Really surprised me. And Shangri-La, Kuala Lumpur,
Yeah.
just incredible.
Shangri-La generally is pretty incredible.
Pretty good.
To be honest with you. Okay, 2 questions for the next guest.
Yeah, I thought about this. So the first one is like a little bit of a rant that's going around at the moment. And I'm going to stay neutral on this. And I'm going to ask, are apps a little boring at the moment? So my first question is, are apps a little boring at the moment?
Yeah.
And my second question is, recommend me an independent restaurant to go and visit.
Yeah.
Why do you love it? Go on, pitch me an independent restaurant that you and I can go and visit.
That's awesome. That's great. I'm going to give you another little round of applause. I don't do this normally because the people come in, but where can people find you? How can they connect with you? Because you make sense. I've seen the changes that you've done, especially for Scott and his stuff. So I will share his links. But where do people find you? How do they get hold of you?
I like chatting to people, as you know.
Yeah.
They can find me on LinkedIn, Richard Liverman. My business is richardsolutions.com.
Nice.
I'm on Instagram as Richard Solutions Global. The same on YouTube. Just give me a call, get in contact, stay curious.
Yeah.
All of that good stuff. And don't be boring, be a little bit more amazing.
Yeah, I like that. That's a really, I think I might do that as a strapline. That might be even be the title of the pod. I think that's probably a good one.
I'll roll with that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Thank you so much. One more. There we go.